I married a sickly man. I'd long admired him. Yet he never gave me a second glance. To save his beloved, I was defiled and killed by bandits. Reborn. I willingly became the concubine of the spoiled young master in the west of town. On my wedding day, a sickly man chased the bridal sedan for 3 blocks. Since childhood, I've had a face that could be called fox-like. Gossip mongers say I was born to seduce men, claiming I'd sleep with anyone for money. During the flood year, our family was so poor we couldn't even afford to lift the lid off the pot. To get food for my younger brother, my father sold me to the sickly man at the salt shop for a marriage to ward off bad luck. At first, I was quite happy to marry Yi Linen, for I had long harbored feelings for him. Yet Yi Linen, believing the rumors, despised me and never touched me. Day after day, he drank his medicine and wrote letters to his beloved Su Luoyan. Alas! The Su family looked down on the Yi family, scornful not only of their poverty but also of Yi Linen's failure to pass the imperial examinations after 3 attempts. The Yi family despised me, forcing me to do everything except feed myself. When their salt shop's business suffered, they blamed me, claiming I'd brought them no luck, that they'd brought home a useless piece of trash. At month's end, heavy rains fell. I went to fetch medicine for Yi Linen. In the alley, I saw Su Luoyan being harassed and stepped in to rescue her. I tried to take her with me, but she pushed me away when I twisted my ankle and ran off alone. Bandits surrounded me, dragging me into an empty thatched hut. As I died, I felt nothing but disgust throughout my body. The magistrate's office was just a street away. Why wouldn't she save me? After my death, Su Luoyan spread rumors that she witnessed me seducing those men, covering up her own assault. He listened expressionless. I couldn't tell if he believed her. Yi Linen never held a funeral for me. He locked himself indoors for 3 days, refusing to claim my body. Probably found me even more disgusting now. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my father arranged my marriage. I gazed at my seductive features in the mirror and let a smile curve my lips. Since heaven blessed me with this beautiful face, why shouldn't I use it to carve out a life for myself? Why be trapped by others' gazes? Hearing the Pei family was seeking a concubine, I proactively slipped my portrait into their hands. The Pei family made their fortune in textiles. Their only son a profligate. But they were rich, plenty of girls would kill to marry into that family. I'd been eyeing other wealthy bachelors as backups. But to my surprise, the Peis came courting within days. They chose me over others simply because I was cheap. The Peis were notoriously stingy, every penny of the dowry was haggled over. Still, however meager, it was more than 2 oxen. On the wedding day, I sat in the palanquin dressed in red, my mind already mapping out the future. Whispers drifted in from outside, as if someone was chasing the palanquin. Su Wan, you mustn't marry him. Cough cough. Su Wan, stop right now. I thought I recognized Yi Linen's voice, but the firecrackers were too loud, making it hard to be sure. The sedan chair stopped. Peiyu lifted the curtain and carried me inside. A new bride must not touch the ground with her feet. I hadn't expected to become merely a concubine. Yet the Pei family observed every ceremonial detail. We performed the marriage rites and held a grand banquet. The red veil kept fluttering in the wind, leaving me to glimpse only Peiyu's hands. Fair and slender, clearly the product of a pampered upbringing. What good fortune indeed. By the time all the customs were completed, night had fallen. Sitting in my room, I lost track of time until Peiyu stumbled back. Drunk. He lifted my red veil, his almond-shaped eyes crinkling with amusement as he studied me. So you are Su Wan? You're even more beautiful than your portrait. Does young Master Pei find me to his liking? I offered my most alluring smile, looking especially seductive in the candlelight. He chuckled softly, That depends on how you perform tonight. A true lecher. His reputation well deserved. I forced a smile and downed several cups of wine to steel my nerves. Pei shed his elaborate wedding robes and leaned toward me when a servant's voice reached us from outside. Master Pei. A sickly man surnamed Yi is causing a disturbance outside. He claims to be an old acquaintance of Miss Su and insists on seeing her. Oh. Pei raised an eyebrow. His eyes fixed on me, though his gaze was icy. Probably no man would like his woman entangled with another. We're not old acquaintances. I don't know him. I immediately distanced myself. I couldn't let Yi Linen ruin my plan. Pei chuckled softly, as if seeing through my lie, instructing the servant to entertain the troublemaker properly. He leaned closer, lifting his head to remove the hairpin from my hair. Who knew the young lady was so charming? You got married. And he still chased you all the way here? But I've never been fond of anyone else. From the day I was reborn. I've only loved money. Does that young lady not fancy me either? That depends on how well you perform tonight. I returned the remark with a teasing tone. Peiyu's dark eyes deepened as he leaned in. He bit my lip, kissing me while insisting on asking, "Do you think that Yi fellow, unwilling to accept you marrying another, is still waiting outside? Guess what, could he hear your voice?" I frowned, my mind drifting for a moment. I was just puzzled. Why would Yi Linen act like this? In my past life, he'd been indifferent toward me. Peiyu pinched my wrist in displeasure, the pain snapping me back to reality. His eyes darkened slightly as he tormented me relentlessly. "Little wife," he murmured, "on your wedding night, you'd better pay attention." The next morning, I woke to find Peiyu gone, staring at the red marks on my wrist. I couldn't help but wonder if his years of celibacy had cultivated some peculiar tastes. Last night was excruciating. When I went to present tea to my in-laws, they only urged me to bear them a healthy grandson soon. After all, they had taken concubines for Peiyu precisely to have children, hoping it would curb his playful ways. I obediently agreed, then turned and secretly drank a bowl of contraceptive soup. Peiyu truly lived up to his reputation as a playboy, spending his days either at the opera house or the tea house. I rarely saw him during the day, though he sometimes visits me at night. Occasionally, he brings me gifts, jewel pendants or jade ornaments. I sell these trinkets for capital to fund my business. I enjoy crafting cosmetics, experimenting with new formulas to sell at street stalls. Once I save enough, I'll rent my own shop. Just as my life began to settle, news spread throughout G-City that Peiyu had bought a courtesan's freedom. That very day, Peiyu returned with the girl. Rumor had it she was the top courtesan. Strikingly beautiful. I'd long expected him to take a wife or concubines. But so soon? Poor me, I hadn't even swindled much money before my patron vanished. That night, after finishing my accounts, I was about to drink my contraceptive soup and rest. Unexpectedly, Peiyu came over. Shouldn't he be with his new girl? Startled, I quickly shielded the soup. "Husband, why are you here?" Peiyu looked stern as he handed me a box. I opened it. Inside was the night pearl I'd sold. I lowered my eyes. Stunned he discovered it so quickly. "So you dislike my gifts that much, little wife?" He crossed his arms, raising an eyebrow with a look that screamed time to settle accounts. "No. I just wanted to use the money for a little business venture. Please don't be angry. Husband. A cosmetics shop, right? How did you know?" Peiyu chuckled softly, pulling out a deed and handing it to me. "I'm your husband, what wouldn't I know? Here. This shop I bought earlier has been sitting empty, needing a manager. Take it and use it. And don't sell off all the jewelry I gave you. Use it to adorn yourself properly." I stared at him in confusion, unable to believe he'd help me. Stop spacing out. Run it well, I'll take a cut. 20%. Oh. I see. Thank you, husband. I smiled and quickly accepted it. Peiyu noticed a bowl of dark liquid on the table and asked what it was. Tonic. My chi and blood are weak. He raised an eyebrow, lifted it to sniff, then took a sip. This bitter? Don't drink it. I'll bring you different tonics tomorrow. Before I could tuck away the deed, he swept me up and carried me toward the bed. How reckless. My cosmetics shop was thriving, because I added my own special blend of fragrances to the cosmetics. Many young ladies adored them and lined up to buy. At noon, an unexpected visitor arrived at the shop. Yi Linen wore a blue robe, his face pale as death. Miss Su, please grant me a moment. I have something to tell you. I am now the concubine of the Pei family. I ask that you address me as concubine Pei. His eyes dimmed. Wanner, must we be so distant? You were meant to marry me. Didn't you used to love sneaking peeks at me? Why haven't you replied to any of the letters I've written these past days? I froze. An unbelievable thought rising. Could he have reincarnated too? But this lifetime, I won't spare him another glance. I burned all those letters. Young Master Yi, I have nothing more to say. Please leave. I stepped back coldly. A sharp pain flashed in his eyes as he seized my wrist. Wanner, has the Pei family mistreated you? How could they let a woman like you appear in public doing business? You truly care for me, don't you? You. Cough cough. Come back to me. I'll present the 3 letters and 6 gifts. Marry you properly through formal channels. Cough cough. I'd never make you a concubine. I stared at the agitated man before me, feeling only a sense of unfamiliarity. Suddenly, a sedan chair halted at the shop entrance. Peiyu propped open the curtain with his fan, gazing at us coldly. Seems the shop's quite busy, with all sorts of customers. Wan, come here. I tried to push Yi Linen away, but his grip was tight. He always looked so frail otherwise. Coldness deepened in Peiyu's eyes. Stepping down from the sedan chair, he strode toward us, deliberately raising his voice. Young lady, I've come to escort you home for dinner. With a dismissive shove, Yi Linen stumbled back several paces. Peiyu took me by the arm, his tone sharp. Is this gentleman also here to buy rouge? If you need anything, ask Dongzhu. This young master doesn't appreciate others clinging to my people. Dongzhu is the maid assigned to me. Yi Linen met his gaze. Though nearly equal in height, his sickly aura made him seem half a head shorter. You're a person? She never belonged to you. Yi Linen's face was deathly pale, his eyes fixed on me. But she is my wife now. Peiyu emphasized the last 2 words heavily. So what? The one she truly loves is not you. Peiyu's face darkened, his lips parting to spit out a venomous retort. But the surrounding guests were all watching, whispering among themselves. His tone softened. Little wife, you mustn't let just anyone in from now on. You wouldn't want to suffer the pain of being bitten by a mad dog. I understand, husband. I gave him a sweet smile to play along, then climbed into the sedan chair with him. Yi Linen watched us depart, his eyes burning with anger with nowhere to vent. Inside the sedan chair, Peiyu toyed with my hand. Does it hurt? It's all red. That sickly bastard is shameless, daring to bully you in broad daylight. It's fine. Thank you for saving me just now, my lord. I knew that. Given Peiyu's usual temper, he would have already laid hands on Yi Linen. But with outsiders present, if things escalated, people would only spread more gossip about Yi Linen and me. My reputation was already tarnished. Retreating to advance was the best course. Just thank you? He snorted coldly. his gaze fixed on me with obvious displeasure. As I pondered how to appease him, he leaned in and bit my lip. "Little wife, keep your distance from him from now on." At the dinner table, my mother-in-law noticed my swollen lips and mistakenly thought I had a heat rash. She ordered a maid to prepare mung bean soup for me. I gave an awkward smile and thanked her. Peiyu scoffed, his jealousy still simmering. Only after I peeled shrimp for him did he finally calm down. I thought that would be the end of it. But that night, he came to my room again, pestering me for ages. "That courtesan is quite beautiful, why doesn't he go to her?" The next day, my back and waist aching, I headed to the shop. I happened to encounter the courtesan lingering by the entrance. Dongju muttered under her breath, "Is that woman here to show off?" I wasn't afraid. I walked straight up to her. The courtesan looked timid when she saw me. Speaking cautiously, "Good day, Madam Pei. My name is Lu Rumming. Thanks to young Master Pei saving me, I got my life back. I wanted to help the household as repayment, and young Master Pei told me to seek you out." Her eyes were large and bright, her face pure and innocent. Her timid demeanor was genuinely endearing. A wave of wariness rose within me. She came from a brothel, stealing men wouldn't bother me. But don't try any underhanded tricks here to swindle my money. What skills do you possess? I probed. I can do needlework, weaving, and cooking. Anything else I don't know, I'm willing to learn. She presented herself with eager enthusiasm. I took her to the shop and assigned her menial tasks, intending to observe her performance. To my surprise, 4 days on end, she never complained of hardship or fatigue. She worked efficiently and asked Dongshu for guidance whenever she encountered something unfamiliar. What puzzled me even more was that she never made a move on Peiyu or tested the waters with me. I couldn't figure her out. Lu Rumming helped sell rouge in the shop. Her face was lovely, and with just a touch of makeup, she looked utterly charming. The girls who saw her all wanted to buy. Watching from the side, I thought of a new sales tactic. Suddenly, I noticed a red stain on Lu Rumming's dress. I hurried over to cover it for her, leading her to the back room to change. Didn't this girl even know her period had come? I had Dongshu bring her a bowl of brown sugar water to drink. Lu Rumming looked at me with reddened eyes, as if she might cry. "What are you doing? Making it seem like I'm bullying you." I wiped her tears, and she clasped my hand. "No, Auntie. No one has ever been this kind to me before." It just suddenly felt overwhelming. Lu Rumming's tears flowed freely, falling without end. She said her family was poor. Her parents had mistreated her since childhood, and her father had sold her into a brothel. As the top courtesan, wealthy men sought to buy her virginity, examining her like a pet in a garden. Peiyu was generous, bringing her back directly, not to claim her, but out of pity. If not for young Master Pei, who knows where I'd be now? Still being bullied. From now on, I, Lu Rumming, am Pei family flesh in life and Pei family spirit in death. Whatever you ask of me, Auntie Pei, I'll do. She clung to me, sobbing, her tears staining my collar. I patted her back, seeing myself in her. "It's okay. It's all in the past. I'll protect you from now on." Peiyu watched me and Lu Rumming inseparable day after day, his brow furrowing. "When did you become so close to her? And keeping her in the mansion, aren't you afraid she might have ulterior motives?" "Rest assured, husband. A courtesan like her has seen every kind of man. She won't make a move on you. Besides, I've successfully brainwashed Lu Rumming. Now she only wants to help me grow our shop." Peiyu's face darkened as he clenched his fan. "Don't you care at all? Aren't you afraid I'll be seduced by a woman? What man doesn't have concubines? If you fancy any young lady, There's no need to inform me. I was busy reviewing the ledgers and lazily tried to shoo him away. His expression darkened further as he snatched the book from my hands. So late at night. Still reading? Can't you keep your husband company? My period started today. It's inconvenient. I might as well have "please my husband" written on my face. Peiyu gritted his teeth, stood up, and lifted me. Husband. I truly can't. I struggled, but he pinned me to the bed and pulled the quilt over us. I didn't say we'd do anything. Lie still and sleep. Peiyu embraced me from behind, his hands gently massaging my waist. Your waist always feels cold during your period. Tomorrow, I'll have someone bring you more tonic herbs. Thank you, my lord. I blinked, feeling he was nothing like the reckless playboy rumored in the outside world. My heart felt like it was being tickled by a cat. A light, sweet ache. Though I hadn't been sleepy, in his embrace, I gradually drifted off. By month's end, perhaps due to the cosmetics shop's growing fame, Su Luoyen herself came to buy rouge. Her eyes held disdain when she saw me, as if saying, marrying a wealthy merchant won't turn a commoner into royalty. Su Luoyen was browsing the counter when she spotted Yi Linen rushing in. Miss, young Master Yi is here. Surely not to buy rouge for you? Her maid whispered with a giggle. Don't be ridiculous. Su Luoyen scolded softly, though her eyes sparkled with satisfaction. I watched her every move, thinking how utterly foolish I must have been in my past life to save such a woman. Yi Linen entered the shop. His expression hurried. Su Luoyen sat demurely, waiting for him to address her. But he walked straight past her, coming toward me. I paused, meeting Yi Linen's smiling gaze. Wanner, I heard you sprained your wrist. I specially bought medicine. Is your hand better? It's fine, I replied coldly, turning to avoid him. Despite my repeated refusals, Yi Linen kept coming. He cared not a whit for others' gossip about me, nor whether it might tarnish my reputation, just as in my past life. He'd written to Su Luoyen regardless of whether it broke my heart. Wanner, I know you don't wish to see me, but please accept this medicine. It's Dr. Chen's secret formula. It works wonders. It's unnecessary. My husband has secured the finest physician. I'm already fully recovered. His eyes dimmed, yet he persisted in seeking conversation. I waved him away, and a servant nearby stepped forward to escort him off. Su Luoyen watched the man who once adored her reduced to such a pitiful state, her anger boiling over. I understood her thoughts. If Yi Linen pursued me now, what would that make his former affection for her? Wouldn't that make her seem inferior even to me? A commoner? This rouge is so tacky, how could anyone have ever liked it? Just as expected. You get what you deserve. How could you find anything worthwhile in a pile of dirt? Su Luoyen wore a look of disgust. Her voice neither loud nor soft, perfectly calculated for me to hear. Lu Rumming frowned, detecting the odd undertone, and stepped forward directly. Young lady, fine things require discerning eyes to appreciate them. If one lacks taste, that's one thing, but why voice it for all to laugh at? Several regular customers chimed in, waving their fans and pointing at Su Luoyen. Humph. A cheap rouge? This lady couldn't care less. Su Luoyen's face turned pale as she turned and stormed off. I smiled and quietly instructed my staff, never sell rouge to the Su family again. Months passed in a flash, bringing me to the date of my death in my previous life. Outside, a downpour raged as I sat indoors balancing the accounts, unable to make sense of the figures. My mind wouldn't settle, so I decided to go out and see for myself. Though Su Luoyen looked down on others, the real culprits were still those bandits. If I knew she was in danger and didn't warn her, how would I be any different from that despicable woman? In this life, One only seeks to live without regret. I threw on my outer robe, intending to report it to the authorities, hoping to bring those bandits to justice. As I opened the gate, I encountered Yelinin, clad in blue. He stood pale beneath the eaves, soaked through, having waited there for who knows how long. "Wanner?" he exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with surprise as he saw me. I was just about to knock. "What are you doing here?" His presence annoyed me, yet he remained as persistent as a ghost. "I came to see if you were safe." Yelinin spoke softly, his heart finally settling. I stared at him, deciding to lay my cards on the table. "Yelinin, I won't come to harm. Because like you, I've been reborn from a past life. I won't repeat the mistakes of the past." "What?" Yelinin's expression shifted, a mix of joy and sorrow washing over him. "So you deliberately refused to marry me? Do you hate me? I was truly foolish in my previous life too. Now isn't the time for this. Su Luoyan might be in trouble. I must report it to the authorities." I hurriedly raised my umbrella, but he stopped me. "No need. I've already reported it." I stood still, my heart suddenly calming. Right. How could he abandon Su Luoyan to her fate? But why didn't he seize the chance to curry favor with the Su family? Why wait here for me instead? Could he truly be falling for me again? How laughable. "Wanner, in my past life, I failed to cherish you. After you passed, I couldn't eat. I was consumed by grief, and I refused to see your body. Since we've been granted another lifetime, I want to treat you well. Will you give me another chance?" Yelinin's eyes were bloodshot, his voice raspy with coughs. Soaked by the rain, he must be suffering even more. I stared blankly at the curtain of rain outside, my heart utterly still. If he truly loved me, how could he bear to treat me so poorly? He's just greedy, wanting both those who adore him and those who don't. I didn't want to say more and turned to go back inside, but he grabbed me. "Wanner, I truly know I was wrong. Please, just look back at me once. This lifetime, I won't betray you again. I'll treat you as well as I possibly can. I won't be like Peiyu, reckless and bringing women home casually. What more must I do for you to believe me? I'll kneel and swear to the heavens." I frowned, pushing him away impatiently, then raised my hand and slapped him across the face. "My husband is not for you to judge. Yelinin, the way you look now is truly pathetic. Seeing you like this makes me sick to my stomach for ever having felt affection for you." He froze in place, his entire body stiffening. "Wanner." His eyes reddened, tears spilling down. Every extra glance at him felt like shortening my lifespan. Just as I turned to leave, footsteps approached behind me. A thick cloak was draped over my shoulders. "Little wife, aren't you cold?" A familiar scent enveloped me as I was pulled into an embrace. Peiyu still wore his leisurely smile as he took my flushed hand, yet his eyes held a chill. "Leave the disciplining to me. My little lady has such delicate skin, what if you hurt her?" "Husband, then I'll leave it to you." That day, I never looked back. I never knew what Peiyu said or did to Yelinin. After that day, Yelinin never returned to the shop. Rumor had it he'd been severely beaten, breaking his leg and catching a severe chill, leaving him bedridden ever since. From that day on, Peiyu stayed by my side, accompanying me to and from the shop daily. Of course, he made me pay dearly at night for secretly meeting Yelinin. The weather cleared, and business at the shop picked up. While tending to a customer, I overheard several girls whispering, "Have you heard? Miss Sue was defiled right during that heavy rain a few days back." I heard too. Thankfully someone reported it to the authorities. The constables rushed over, otherwise she wouldn't have survived. Those bandits were mountain outlaws. No wonder she hasn't been seen out these past days. She was always so spoiled and arrogant. Seemed she couldn't bear the shock and tried to slit her wrists. But they saved her. Probably won't be able to marry now. I never imagined this would be Su Luoyan's fate. That day, Yi Linen didn't even see Su Luoyan settled before leaving, he just reported it to the authorities. To see the girl I once admired treated this way now, it's truly heartbreaking. Young lady. Why the dazed look? Has the heat gotten to you? Peiyu fanned me with his fan and offered me a preserved plum. I shook my head. He handed me the ledger and pointed out an error I'd made. This calculation's wrong. Good thing I caught it, otherwise you'd be burning the midnight oil again at month's end. I gave him a puzzled look. You spend your days either sipping tea or watching plays. How did you learn so much? These past few days. Peiyu hadn't been idle at the shop. He'd either been helping me with the accounts or taking inventory. Arranging everything perfectly for me. Humph. You underestimated your husband. Didn't you? Did you really think this young master was just idling away his days? Then why haven't you gone to take the imperial examinations? Peiyu smiled and told me about his childhood. On his 5th birthday, a distant relative who was an official was exiled due to factional strife in the imperial court. His parents only wished for him to grow up safely. Even if he spent his days eating, drinking, and playing, the family fortune could easily sustain him. So when he came of age, he didn't enter officialdom. Bored, he read leisurely books, waiting for his father to hand over the family business. Hearing this, I couldn't help but feel envious. Peiyu tapped my forehead with amusement. Why are you staring at me like that? What's mine will be yours someday. I paused, lowering my gaze. You'll marry a wife someday. She'll be the one sharing your joys and sorrows. I'm just a concubine. When he grows tired of me and casts me aside, I'll simply take my silver and leave. Peiyu frowned, suddenly gripping my waist. You actually want me to take a wife? Isn't it inevitable? Mother-in-law was urging you just the other day. And what do you think? Me? I naturally wish you both a swift blessing of children and a lifetime of happiness. You. Peiyu pushed me away with a dark expression and stormed out of the shop. I couldn't figure out what I'd said wrong, I'd only spoken well of him. Peiyu didn't come for me that night. Lu Rumming said he'd gone drinking with friends at a brothel. See? That's just how men are. I kept busy expanding the shop. His absence gave me peace. When I saw Peiyu again, he brought a young woman home. She wore brocade robes, clearly made from the Pei family's newest fabrics. During dinner, mother-in-law probed about the girl through hints, but Peiyu guarded her like a treasure. I kept my head down, eating silently. My appetite was poor today, I ate only half a bowl. A heavy weight pressed on my chest, neither rising nor falling. Peiyu served me perch, knowing I preferred fish with fewer bones. But I didn't touch it. I rose, saying I was full. He glanced at me, his brow slightly furrowed. Walking back to my room, I wondered, if Peiyu married a wife, would I have to give back the cosmetics shop to the main wife? Then, I feared I wouldn't even be allowed to sit at the table for meals. Concubines weren't supposed to dine at the table, but mother-in-law said there was no main wife in the household and told me to sit down. Not to be so formal. I stroked the thick ledger, a heavy weight settling in my chest. The thought that the shop's silver would no longer be under my control made me ache. Blowing out the candle, I lay on the bed, feeling for the first time how vast and empty it seemed. I tossed and turned, forcing myself to sleep. Yet my mind kept conjuring scenes of Peiyu with other women. Deep into the night, I finally drifted off. Suddenly, someone pressed down on me, cutting off my breath. I jolted awake. In the moonlight, I saw Peiyu staring at me with a grim face. As if I owed him money. Su Wan. You ungrateful woman. What are you doing? I caught the scent of alcohol on him and tried to push him away. But he pinned my wrists down. These past days, I didn't come looking for you. And you didn't care either? I brought a girl back. And you act like nothing happened? I was just thinking of you. My husband. I didn't want to interrupt your revelry. My sarcastic retort earned me a glare. Nonsense. You just don't care about me, you only care about money. I couldn't argue back. Peiyu grew angrier, lowering his head to bite me. I begged for mercy in pain, but he wouldn't relent. Su-won, I'll give you anything you want. Why can't you just care about me? Give me anything? I snorted coldly. What if I want to be the main wife and manage all the Pei family shops? That's possible. I froze. Eyes wide. Peiyu must be drunk. Husband. You're drunk. No. He bit my earlobe. His breath scorching. Your mother and I have long agreed, if you bear a son for the Pei family, I'll elevate you to primary wife. But nearly half a year has passed. I've been trying so hard every day, why is there still no sign in your belly? I dared not utter a word. I'd never stopped taking that contraceptive potion, fearing he'd catch on. I quickly shifted the blame. Who knows? Maybe. My husband has an undiagnosed condition? Nonsense. I'm perfectly healthy. Peiyu pressed me down angrily and kissed me. Seems your husband hasn't been trying hard enough. The next day, I slept until noon. That beast of a man, Peiyu, clearly has no intention of being human. I felt utterly drained. Just as I finished dressing, Peiyu entered carrying food. My dear, you're awake. His face wore a fawning smile, likely aware of how despicable he'd been last night. I had the cook prepare your favorite dishes. Try some. I snorted coldly, but the aroma of the food made my hunger undeniable. Peiyu stood behind me, kneading my shoulders as he whispered, Remember what I said last night? Little wife? What? About bearing me sons and becoming my proper wife. If I become your proper wife, what about the girl you brought back? Peiyu froze. Her? She was just someone I picked up by the roadside. She was selling herself to bury her father when she was harassed. I just helped her out. Really? I was skeptical. Of course it's true. My brothers who were with me saw it all. Ask them if you don't believe me. I saw that girl was dressed in rags. Barely covered. I even gave her a new set of clothes. And since she has nowhere to go now, she'll serve as your maid from now on. Peiyu spoke earnestly, urging me to eat more, all these nourishing foods. The whole setup made it seem like I was already pregnant. The girl Peiyu brought back was named Mingyu. I already had Dongju as a maid, that was enough. I took Mingyu to the shop and had Lu Rumming show her the ropes. Within days, Lu Rumming had successfully brainwashed her. Mingyu was thrilled every day, eagerly following us around, determined to earn good money. With money, a woman could establish her own household, no longer endure cold stares, and never again be anyone's appendage. A woman must first love herself before loving others. To support me in becoming the main wife, Peiyu worked tirelessly every day. He came to my room punctually every evening, insisting we work together. But before I could become the main wife, my parents came to the shop demanding silver. Truthfully, since marrying in, I'd send half my monthly allowance back to my family. Yet my parents remained unsatisfied. This time, they claimed my younger brother needed funds to prepare for the imperial examinations. Their first demand? 500 taels. I watched them with amusement. If my brother had any promise, he wouldn't need such arrangements. If he had no promise, arrangements wouldn't help him anyway. What nonsense is this? We struggled to raise you, married you off to a good family, And this is how you repay us? My mother glared at me with biting harshness, while my father stood silently beside her, his eyes filled with resentment. Married off? You sold your daughter, didn't you? I sneered. In my past life, I suffered terribly in Yelinen's household. When I fell ill, no one lifted a finger to help me. Now they talk about repayment? Besides, I was nothing but a money-losing burden they'd berated since childhood. This time around, not a single coin from the Pei family's dowry reached me. Su-won, don't think marrying into the Pei family makes you superior. Your brother still needs your help. If you abandon us to our fate, I'll go straight to the Pei household and expose you, showing them what an ungrateful little bitch you are. My mother eyed my clothes, clearly dissatisfied with 500 taels. She'd have dug more silver out of my very bones if she could. I stared at them coldly. No silver? Fine. Take my life instead. I only have so much to give you each month. If you don't want it, then don't take it. Fine. We've raised you for nothing. You ungrateful brat, is it so hard to ask you for a little money now? When your brother becomes a top scholar someday, let's see if he'll acknowledge you as his sister. We'll see when he actually passes the exams. Don't I know what my brother's made of? He was spoiled rotten by our parents since childhood. All he knows is catching fish and shrimp, fighting and playing. He can't hold down a single drop of ink. You, what kind of attitude is this? Married for just a few months and already ignoring your birth family? Are you trying to sever all ties with us? My mother, heartbroken, deliberately raised her voice. People around us turned to stare, wanting to join the commotion, but were held back by the servants. Peiyu arrived in a sedan chair, carrying a box of food. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, it's been days since we last met. How have you been? He stepped forward to exchange pleasantries, discreetly shielding me behind him. My mother clung to his hand as if he were her savior, sobbing and recounting how heartless I'd been. Peiyu listened intently, glancing at my expression. Finally, after my mother finished her tirade, she revealed her true intentions and demanded money from Peiyu. Peiyu feigned reluctance. Mother-in-law, it's not that I won't give it, but all the household finances, big and small, are managed by Wan. I only take her word. My mother and father stood dumbfounded, likely never expecting the notoriously arrogant and tyrannical playboy from the rumors to have ended up like this. I watched them expressionless. My mother's face finally crumpled. Before leaving, she passed by me and hissed under her breath. You're truly a fox-like temptress. I should never have given birth to such an ungrateful wretch. This is my mother. My mother. A woman just like me. She knows the most venomous words, and how to wound me deepest. Watching my parents storm off, Peiyu waved after them. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, take your time. Come visit again when you're free. Peiyu turned back, his expression softening. He took my arm and led me to dine at the shop. He brought only my favorite dishes, silently ladling soup for me, trying to cheer me up. I ate with my head down, my eyes stinging, though the hurt in my heart had faded. Strange as it seemed, Peiyu, who used to spend his days idling about, now clung to me constantly. He accompanied me to the shop daily, holding an umbrella and bringing soup. His brothers teased him about being henpecked. Peiyu just beamed, saying they didn't understand the blessing in it. Looking back on his kindness these past 6 months, it still felt unreal. I'd stopped taking the contraceptive potion. I wanted to test whether his affection would truly last. If he broke his word, I'd pack up the shop's money and run. Half a month later, my parents came looking for me again. This time, they'd shed their previous harshness, clutching at me with pleading voices. Su-won, please help your brother. He's been fooling around outside and provoked the wrong people. If we can't come up with the silver, they might chop off his hands. Considering we raised you, you can't just stand by and watch him die. Can you? He's your own flesh and blood. But back when I was little, every time my brother framed me, made me take the fall and suffer punishment, they never showed me any mercy. I wiped away non-existent tears with my handkerchief and began to sob. But I'm just a woman, how could I possibly have such power? All I know is how to tend to my husband and raise children. I hold no real authority in my husband's family, just having food on the table is a blessing. How could father and mother have raised such a useless burden as me? I'm so worthless. Unable to help you in any way. What on earth can I do? I threw their past words right back at them. They were speechless. My brother had caused his own trouble, I couldn't keep cleaning up his messes forever. He had to face the consequences of his actions to learn his lesson. Father and mother stormed off again, looking bitter and resentful. They'd probably never understand why their lives were always so hard. Because they pinned all their hopes on their precious son, yet never properly taught him. My cosmetics shop opened a branch. As the business expanded, I took in some unfortunate women to work. I hoped to do what little I could to change their mindsets and circumstances. Without striving to change their thinking, countless more women would be sold like me in the future. To celebrate the new store opening, all cosmetics are 10% off. Many regular customers came to try the newly released rouge and powder. Overhearing their casual chatter, I learned the Yi family was arranging a match. But Yi Lin refused to marry. His mother threatened suicide, so he stopped taking his medicine, causing tension and unrest at home. The Yi family's salt shop couldn't keep going either. It probably wouldn't be long before it closed. What are you listening to? Peiyu asked lazily. Shelling peanuts. That Yi fellow is gravely ill. What? You want to go see him? Nonsense. What does he have to do with me? Hopefully nothing. Otherwise, I'd beat him so badly he'd be bedridden for life. Peiyu gave a light snort, squeezed my hand, then sauntered off to check the accounts. That evening, the shop assistants gathered for dinner. I had a feast prepared to treat them. Peiyu served me food, but the mere scent of meat made me nauseous. What's wrong? Have you been overworking lately? Peiyu grew deeply concerned, rising to summon a physician. I thought I'd caught a chill, as I'd felt unwell recently. The unexpected result? I was pregnant. The whole family rejoiced, but I was frozen in shock. Peiyu carefully escorted me back to my room and tended to me with utmost care. Seeing the gleam of excitement in his eyes, I couldn't help but let my mind wander. Peiyu, if I give birth to a girl, will you marry someone else? What nonsense. I married you, and you are the only one. Peiyu embraced me. If our first child is a girl, we'll have another. If you don't want more children, then let our daughter take charge of the household, just as capable as you. Mother-in-law won't agree to that. My mother listens to me. Otherwise, do you think she would have gone through all the formalities and held a grand banquet for my marriage? I froze. This was something I'd never understood. I'd always assumed the Pei family was just saving face since it was their first bride. Burning through money recklessly. Peiyu, why are you so good to me? Because I like you. I want to be good to you. Huh? When did you start liking me? My face flushed. Hearing him say this for the first time felt strangely embarrassing. Peiyu chuckled, the light in his eyes growing brighter. Long ago, I saw you outside the salt shop. You were peeking at Yi Linen, weren't you? I thought you were pretty and couldn't help but look a few extra times. Those few glances stayed with me for so long afterward. But I knew you liked that Yi fellow. A gentleman doesn't steal another's love. So I never imagined we'd cross paths. Later, I never expected you'd come knocking on my door yourself. Peiyu said this, his face all smiles. Wan. I'm so glad I married you. You're thoughtful in everything you do and take such good care of my parents. You're truly the best woman I've ever met. Marrying you, my husband, is my greatest blessing. I hadn't known about these connections between us. A wave of emotion washed over me. Thank goodness I'd slipped him that portrait back then. Peiyu lowered his gaze to meet mine, his eyes full of expectation. My dear, now that you've forgotten that ye fellow, do you have even a shred of affection for me? Yes. I murmured softly, my face burning. Then my kindness toward you hasn't been in vain. Peiyu leaned down to kiss me, his touch tender beyond words. My belly grew larger day by day, and Peiyu stayed by my side constantly. He accompanied me on strolls through the streets, saying he wanted to buy me a hairpin. I always felt someone watching me. While looking at a bronze mirror, I caught sight of a figure not far behind me. It was Yi Linen, whom I hadn't seen in ages. His complexion remained as pale as ever, and he looked even more frail. I pretended not to notice and continued walking forward, holding Peiyu's hand. Yi Linen wouldn't bother me anymore. Even if we crossed paths, he wouldn't dare approach me again. Because Peiyu had said that anyone who bullied his wife would be beaten every time they met. Peiyu was a man of his word. After supper that evening, my notoriously frugal mother-in-law unexpectedly brought me some nourishing tonics. She studied me for a long moment before presenting a brocade box. Inside lay a jade bracelet, clearly of great value. What is this? Mother? This is our Pei family heirloom. You've managed the cosmetics shop splendidly these past months. From now on, you shall oversee the family business. Overwhelmed by her favor, I hurried to bow in gratitude. She steadied me. Enough. Now that you're carrying a child, just focus on taking care of yourself. I'm counting on holding my grandchild soon. After she left, Peiyu slipped in quietly. Since I became pregnant, my mother-in-law wouldn't let him sleep in my room, so he often came in the dead of night. Here you are again. Aren't you afraid mother will scold you? Let her scold. I've heard it all before. He held me close, his fingers measuring the curve of my waist. I'd gained quite a bit of weight. Noticing the bracelet in my hands, he smiled. I told mother to trust me. Before long, you'll be my proper wife. Yes. 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 Then I'll rely on my husband from now on. Not at all. I'll just need my wife to give me a little extra spending money from now on. I laughed out loud, my heart sweet with joy. Peiyu stared at me, the darkness in his eyes deepening. Wife, it's getting late. Time to rest. Then why aren't you leaving? Why would I leave? It's only natural for me to sleep beside my wife. He carried me to the bed, his expression serious, though his eyes were anything but. In the darkness, he kissed me, murmuring softly, "Wife, the doctor said after 3 months, we can proceed with caution." The following summer, I gave birth to a son. On the day of delivery, I cried inside the room, while Peiyu cried outside, his voice nearly drowning mine. When the child was a month old, the Pei family formally elevated me to the position of primary wife. Soon after, I took the cosmetics shop to the capital. No one would remember that poor girl from G-City with the fox-like looks and bad reputation. They would only remember Su Wan, the Pei family's wife, as kind-hearted and highly capable. I heard the Yi family's salt shop had closed, leaving them even more destitute. The Yi family's young master still hadn't taken a wife. But none of that concerned me anymore, because I had a real family now. When my son turned 3, the Pei family's business flourished more than ever. On the festival of the 7th moon, the cosmetics shop held a discount event. Helping out in the store, I watched the young women work with such confidence and capability, able to handle things on their own. My heart swelled with pride. Mommy, Mommy! Take me to see the lanterns. A tiny figure approached me from outside, grabbing my hand. I pinched his cheek, the little one was growing so fast. Peiyu stepped forward and scooped him up. Running so fast. Just to annoy your mother. But Daddy said he wanted to see Mommy. Little treasure pouted. Pei Xiaobao. Peiyu frowned and glared, blaming him for speaking the truth. I watched them with amusement, truly two little clingy creatures. All right. There's nothing left to do at the shop. Let's go buy lanterns. As you wish. My lady. Peiyu's eyes sparkled with amusement as he followed me outside. The streets were bustling with people. Vibrant and lively. The orange-red sunset filled the sky, its splendor gradually fading into the night. Lotus lanterns drifted far down the river, where many young men and women met for secret rendezvous. After taking in the festivities, I carried 2 rabbit lanterns. Peiyu held my hand the entire time, as if afraid I might get lost. My dear, let's go home. Okay. The end.